Hey, this is Sam Stone with Den of Geek and Power Up here with some of the creative minds behind V-NOVA, including the V-NOVA Presence and the ImmersiX app, which you can check out on Steam. Gentlemen, Guido, Gianluca, please introduce yourselves for our audiences at home.
Awesome. That is Sam. Thank you very much. Guido, CEO and co-founder of V-NOVA.
Gianluca, I supported the founding of V-NOVA, and I'm the general manager for V-NOVA Studios.
With the V-NOVA Presence, you guys have been working on this for a long time. It's been early access for several months now. You've got multiple experiences, very tonally different experiences that people can check out on Steam, like Shark Karma, Waitlist. Like, what was it about kind of creating these very distinct experiences to kind of welcome users to try out and see what the V-NOVA Presence has to offer?
We are very excited as geeks, so I think we are in the right place here. Because we are launching with V-NOVA PresenZ a relevant step change improvement for movie viewing. And the best part is yet to come. So, we just started with appetizers. Because this format, aside from creating a whole new type of experience, can also reuse graphics pipelines and existing content investments that have already been made by big studios and music talent. So, there's a lot of content that can come out. But first, let's see what the format is. Because, when cinema was born, the Lumiere brothers gave us this dream of being immersed into visual stories, so teleporting viewers to another place. And so far, we went progressively from simple motion pictures, then video plus audio, then bigger screens, then stereoscopic called 3D video with 3D glasses. And it all works great as long as we watch straight and we keep our heads still. But the dream was to be immersed in a story, like we are immersed in the real world, to be able to move left, right, up, down, sideways, to look around characters, to do exactly what we do in normal life, which we call 6 degrees of freedom. And it's very similar to how we can move around in a 3D video game. And so far, they try to do it with virtual reality, but by wrapping a bubble of video around the viewer. But the problem is that this can generate very quickly motion sickness, because as soon as you start moving your head, our brain detects that the video is flat, there's no parallax, you cannot really look behind objects, so you cannot peek behind a character or around an object that you have close by. And so over time, people develop a sort of motion sickness that so far has prevented to really push on VR entertainment, because if people get sick after 5-10 minutes, you cannot really engage them into a movie or anything like that. Finally, with V-NOVA Presence, we solved that problem. So, that's about to change. And we added real volumes. So we achieved this dream of watching a story from within by means of something that is called volumetric movies. So technically it's point clouds, but it's no longer video. So it's something volumetric that properly responds to how a viewer moves around and allows to really move around in a scene like we do in a video game, but with the quality of Hollywood. So essentially you get the same quality of a movie like Mufasa, Avatar 3, etc., but you can peek behind the character, look around an object, look around and feel exactly there. And it's awesome.
I think in the United States alone, there's something around 30 million people that are already using virtual reality or augmented reality in some way, shape, or form. You had mentioned video games. That's certainly big with PlayStation VR, what we're seeing with Apple Vision Pro, what we're seeing with MetaQuest and that continuing technology. How is it kind of taking all these components, recognizing that market and kind of answering it and improving upon it with the V-NOVA Presence?
So far, VR has been a niche, but not small because we're talking about in the US around 30, 35 million monthly users. Many more people that bought the device and have it there because they don't necessarily game constantly. But the market so far has been essentially gaming and fitness, $7 billion per year. So small, but not too small. But there was no real appeal for people that just want narrative media, which are actually a very important part of the entertainment market because outside of virtual reality, gaming is very big, $260 billion per year. But if we take pay TV, streaming, cinema, etc., they're much bigger. They're over $300 billion a year. So there's currently an untapped potential with virtual reality that was really due to the fact that, as I said, there were technical limitations that prevented to produce content and to monetize it. And V-NOVA Presence actually solves the problems that marred the VR entertainment industry so far in two ways. Because first of all, it really works. So that's it. Just works as we like from good technologies. When you don't need to even go too much into the details, it means we did our job right. But secondly, as I was mentioning before, it allows to reuse the computer graphics and visual effects pipelines and the same assets that have already been produced for standard video production. So there's a host of content produced in the past 2 decades, essentially, and that keeps being produced tens of billions of dollars per year that can very inexpensively be ported now to virtual reality experiences, creating never before seen enhancement of movie viewing also with the same content. So it's a way to monetize existing investments that the majors and music talent have discovered can be extremely relevant already today with the 30 plus million people that are using, and tomorrow with the many more that can buy devices because they can find a purpose to buy it.
In actually trying out the stuff like Weightless and Shark Karma, it was making me think of like just the possibilities because I didn't find either experience to be disorienting. It's interesting with Shark Karma because it's very correct me if I'm wrong, but you were working with like the Peter Benchley estate, the creator of Jaws, and there was all kinds of like you could really feel the tension in this like scenic like environment
Yeah,
and having that. How was it kind of like when you're dealing with tension and suspense in the VR space, the threat can come from anywhere. It's like how is it?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
you
Well,
have a little, a huge shark maybe
yeah.
turning around you, and maybe it's on your back. And
Yeah, very well, very realistically like
that-
ferocious looking shark. Like how was it kind of like creating this environment along with this presence within the V-NOVA presence that
yeah.
is stalking you and kind of hunting you and kind of deliver that experience?
That is incredible. Consider that we are working with a movie director that has worked for over 20 years for traditional CG movies, and Cinzia Angelini, and she was amazed when she found out this format because for her was a way to think about a movie where for the first time, yes, you are really inside. You have a object, let's say, a beast moving around you, and you have a double mission because on one side you have to amaze the people, the person. On the other side, you have also to capture his attention, and it's also a way for a movie director, for instance, to hide something, to take to the audience. A couple of meanings for the same movies, maybe, because you can look at the same movie 20 times in 20 different ways, if you like. And for a movie director that has done movies in the same way for 20 years, maybe, it's amazing because he can go on doing the same, but if he likes, he can add something completely new because it's let's say it's another dimension at the end because you have everything around you, stuff that can happen. For instance, also when we discuss with the majors, with the biggest companies in Hollywood, they did like to try these two approaches because on one side they could really produce one once and monetize twice. You do all the same for let's say the very same production. On the other side, they can add new animation on the back, new meanings on the back, etc., etc. So this is amazing for them
Right.
because they are inventing a new, and we are with them, with the big ones. So we are sketching a new Bible of movie making for what concern volumetric movie making that is different in a way because yes, you have sharks going around you. You have object, a boat just going in front of your face, and you have to avoid it, lean left, lean right, maybe try to look at an object that is hidden behind something in front of you. That is not possible in any way with the other formats that are currently on the market, like VR 360 or 180, etc., etc. It's simply impossible. It's not only a matter of nausea, that is true, but also the fact that you cannot do some things. That is really, really important, and movie directors love this.
Yeah, and Sam, if I can underline and highlight something that Gianluca said also, because here we are in the den of geek, so I'll take the geek hat and go deeper into the tech. As Gianluca said, V-NOVA PresenZ allows to keep the same type of movie making, so you can do cuts, close-ups, the type of editing style as traditional movie making, or considering that you are in VR, you can also experiment with new things because it's a new medium. So as always, at first you can do the same things and then you can add. But the most important thing is why, because when you said that you were surprised that by trying, you didn't find any, it felt natural and even weightless, for instance, that is essentially a music experience with a lot of cuts, acceleration, a lot of very forbidden things that typically they say don't do them in VR, otherwise people will feel sick. The reason why they don't in V-NOVA PresenZ is that V-NOVA PresenZ allows full display frame rate, which means that for headsets that are 72 frames per second, it does 72 frames per second. Others that are 90 frames per second, it does 90 frames per second. It seems very technical, but that's fundamental. If you want to have objects that are very close to the viewer and you want the viewer to eye track them while moving their head, it's fundamental that everything moves at display frame rate because otherwise you will see the object that creates a judder. And when the object is close by, that can make people feel sick very rapidly, especially if they are not used to staying in VR for very long. And if you think about it, what it means is that you need to have photorealistic environment with cinematic quality. So, billions of polygons and points, professional lighting, physics simulation, etc. at 6K per eye at 90 frames per second, which means in 10 milliseconds, you need to have the type of quality that at the cinema takes hours of rendering to achieve. And that's precisely what V-NOVA PresenZ does. So it allows to pre-render with the same engines, and then during real-time viewing, what you need to do, since it's all pre-baked in terms of lighting, physics simulations, etc., and it could take however much time you want to achieve the photorealistic quality that you want, then it can actually make sure that you have this reliability of frame rate and resolution. And that allows, from a creative standpoint, that's the technical geeky thing that allows the creatives to really do whatever they want because it just feels natural. It feels like stepping into a new world that behaves exactly like the normal one.
And to touch on that point a little bit more, I mean, without going into specifics, you had mentioned like major studios and seeing the possibilities of V-NOVA PresenZ and the type of extended reality technology that you guys are offering. A lot of these movies and shows are filmed at like 24 frames per second. So to use the V-NOVA PresenZ, it's like you're seeing these worlds and environments with like completely new eyes. Like it's like, oh my God. Like when you see how much it up converts to match those frame rates and resolutions, it's not just that you're experiencing these worlds with like the 6 degrees of freedom, but it's like in a level of
Yeah.
realism and detail that you wouldn't normally expect, even if like I've seen Star Wars more times than I can count. But like to suddenly, or like any other side, like I love Star Trek, but like to suddenly see these like potential worlds and see the potential for these up conversions, and it's like, oh my God, like it's more than just like I think a lot of existing virtual reality stuff, just like, oh, here's the Batcave. Great. But to see the up conversion and the possibilities with how much data you can compress and present in this intuitive and immersive way with the ImmersiX app it's bananas. Like, how is it kind of like working within those parameters?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And what about watching exactly those same scenes with these new eyes, etc.? Yes, it's absolutely that's our purpose. We really want to enable filmmakers to do just that, to unlock the possibility to re-experience loved content or new content alike in this entirely bananas way. Yeah, totally. And that's actually, Gianluca is actually having fun with, I don't know, Gianluca, if you want to describe some of the things that we are doing, but unfortunately, we are not at liberty to mention many of them.
The problem is that I would love, because
Sam,
really,
Sam, you saw some of them, but we
Maybe,
can't say
maybe.
which ones.
Yeah.
because because Sam, you said about smoothness, that 24 frame per second that becomes something that is really, let's say, allowing you to think that to be really inside the scene. That is fundamental, probably as much as the parallax that we discussed before, that is important, etc., etc. Because the smoothness is in reality you are in the smooth universe, obviously, no, you have not anything stuttering around you in the real reality. And so yes, what we are doing at the moment, looking at also at the quality of what the major studios can do in terms of animation, because if you look at the major superheroes, etc., how they are animated with millions and millions of polygons, this is something that is not achievable in any kind of real-time environment. You need to pre-render something, no? And that is what we, and this is why, yes, we are working with the very big blockbuster movie directors to try taking to you, the audience, something that is amazing, that is completely new, completely new. You can look at ImmersiX in our app. You can, let's say, look at a glimpse of what it will happen. Also, Shark Karma that is there, it's very nice, but it's not finished. As you mentioned, is part one. Now we are ongoing production for what will be released at the end of the year, and it's in October, and it will be amazing because now here is just setting the scene what you can look today in ImmersiX. But yes, something really really nice will happen. Also to cover a lot of new headsets, because at the moment we work with open XR headset in Steam, but by summertime we will open a new, as Guido said, a new technology of pixel streaming. So you will not need any more a PC connected. You will be able to stream the experience on the major and big ones that will be released. Consider that you mentioned some headset, but also from Asia Pacific, we will see new ones coming to the market. You probably have seen the Vivo Vision that has been announced too, but there are really a lot of new headsets that will hit the market by 2025 this year. So I'm pretty sure that this market will evolve a lot this year.
Sam, if I can take the geek hat again, because we mentioned computer graphics and animation, but it's also very important to address a question that possibly in the audience is fizzling around, which is, what about live action? Can I do real people? And the answer is yes, because photogrammetry, videogrammetry techniques, thanks to AI, have evolved very quickly. People have heard the terms of NURBS or Gaussian splatting. Now, there are even more advanced techniques coming out, but the concept is it's becoming very possible, thanks to generative AI, to film something, not necessarily with a lot of cameras. Previously, we were requiring 50 cameras. Now, we are fine with a few, and very
Yeah.
soon, possibly with just one.
Mhm.
And then AI allows to reconstruct a volumetric model that you can import in the traditional VFX pipelines, and voila, you can actually have your V-NOVA PresenZ immersive 6DoF experience. So we are experimenting already with that. So while it's very easy already today, taking all the animation CG content and porting
Yeah.
it to to V-NOVA PresenZ, it's becoming increasingly possible, and hopefully in a matter of 1 or 2 years, it'll become as easy to take video content, live action content, and turn it to V-NOVA PresenZ so that we can put the audience inside. And by delivering it via pixel streaming, what it means, and here we are using also another V-NOVA technology called MPEG-5
Mm.
LCVC that allows to stream ultra low latency video at very low bandwidth. Practically speaking, it means wireless access to this content with just 25 megabits. So with very normal Wi-Fi connectivity, people just having standalone headsets or in the future smart glasses, like the future evolution of Meta Orion and similar, they will be able to access these experiences, and this is happening in the next 1 or 2 years. So this is really happening today, and we're very proud of the work we are doing with our partners like Meta, Apple, Vivo, and the others to make this reality happen.
To that point, it really does feel like we are right at, we keep talking about it being a growing niche. It feels like with all the advances and all of these big commitments that Apple and everybody are putting into extended reality and virtual reality, we really are at the cusp of this thing like just exploding and being like accepted by the mainstream and like, we were talking about 35 million. That number is gonna like double within the next few years. Like, how is it being like at the tip of the spear and seeing everything that's capable, both in entertainment, practical uses with like medical and exploration and that sort of thing? Like, how is it seeing everything that's possible with this and putting it into practice with the V-NOVA presence?
Yeah, and you're totally right, Sam. And actually, this is a typical fallacy sometimes when navigating the adoption curve and what is called the technology readiness level curve. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer to go from first of a kind applications and pilot rollouts to tech enthusiasts and mass market adoption. And this is definitely the case for virtual reality because, we saw hype and then bust and then hype again and then bust. And sometimes people say, okay, it's never going to happen. But if they're saying this now, I'm pretty sure they're wrong because this actually, the technology has been proven. The price points of the devices is there. Now the content that can attract
Yeah.
mass market adoption is going to be there very soon and very inexpensively. And in particular for people that have tried the upcoming headsets and glasses, they're really really light. Already the ones on sale today, they're awesome and they don't cost much. It's like the price of a mobile phone. But the ones that are coming in the next year or two are just phenomenal.
Yeah.
And they will cost like a mobile phone. So it's actually something that if they feel the need, half of the families on the planet can afford.
It's bananas because you've offered this so much of what you guys have been working on, in early access. And I mean, the level of confidence there, but also feedback has been very important for you. Like how has it been seeing that feedback and seeing something that you all have been working on literally for years of your lives and finally getting the chance to share pieces of it. And as you prepare to really unveil what you all have been working on and dedicating your lives to for, the better part of, I mean,
What
God.
what is
Yeah.
really what is really wonderful, Sam, is that any way we go out to take demos. I just went to the Emirates couple of weeks ago, we did a 600, more than 600 demos. It was amazing. From the youngest kid to to the oldest, let's say, grandparents of them, passing through movie directors, sheikhs, etc., etc. If anyone was amazed by these experiences, because and consider that uh, at the beginning. A lot of them said, "Oh, maybe I'm not pretty sure to try it. I tried in the past, but I was dizzy and it caused me nausea." And then when they tried, at the end, we convinced them to try. They didn't want to exit from the VR world ever, because it's completely different from anything they tried in the past, and that is really really amazing. From the youngest kid to my grandparents, it is incredible. You can cover, and this is important also for device manufacturers, because as of today, they are selling devices to gamers, and that they are a lot. But how many people loves movies? Even on your website, no? Then of Geeks is important. Movies, anyone loves movies, and so it's a
100% of the
win-win.
people love music and movies.
Yeah.
50% of people love games. So, it's like,
At least.
yeah, but 100%, love music and movies. So, it's actually
Yeah.
everybody. But actually, Sam, the feedback we are getting is really nice, especially when we can show the full power of the format. Because, for instance, on the current early access version of the ImmersiX app, people cannot yet see tier one production quality assets that we have shown in certain trade shows. Like, for instance, DreamWorks Animation have been showing excerpts of How to Train Your Dragon and Abominable, wowing audiences with phenomenal immersion into those assets. And similarly, other studios have played by porting very known IP franchises into V-NOVA PresenZ, and we are looking forward for people to experiencing those. So currently, actually, some of the feedback personally made me laugh, because the current content that is on the ImmersiX app, which you experienced, is actually awesome.
Yeah.
But it's indie production content. So, we actually funded it as, showcases of what the format can do, but it's not the level of $2 million per minute that, companies, media companies like Universal or Disney can afford. And actually, some of the feedback from some gamers was like, "Oh, yes, this is better, but not that much better than Half-Life Alyx or some of the best VR franchises." And I'm like, "Yeah, and that cost a few tens of thousands of dollars versus tens of millions of dollars to produce." So, the feedback that it's just slightly better than kind of some of the best productions that have ever seen the light of the day in VR is very encouraging, because people haven't yet seen what the format can do, and we are already pushing the envelope of the best VR quality that has been seen in years. So it's actually pretty cool, and that's why I invite everybody to try it, because as much as we can talk about it, it's out. And hopefully also the tier one content will be out soon. We're trying to get clearance to start releasing some of it also to the greater public. But it's coming. And the more the audience shows what they want to see, the more the majors are listening, because trust us, the majors are listening. Also, music artists are listening. And, some ideas of what people would like to see, I guess everybody can guess. But it's very important that people ask, "Okay, I would like to see this franchise, this film. Can you show me this?" Of course, can we see lightsabers? Certainly, you said it before. What about blue aliens in a great alien world with a lot of water? Yes, that's probably another one that the
Nice,
people want to
colorful
see.
vegetation. Yes.
Yeah, exactly, with glowing vegetation. Yeah.
Glowing
Yeah.
vegetation.
Et cetera, et cetera. So it's really the feedback is awesome, and the beautiful thing is that this is just the beginning.
And again, listeners, you can check it out for yourselves. Check out the ImmersiX app on Steam. Keep an eye out for what V-NOVA is doing next. Check out the V-NOVA presence. It's like I said, you guys are right on the cusp. The stuff that you've been working on for years is about to come see the light of day in a big way. Again, check it out. Check out V-NOVA online and check out V-NOVA and the ImmersiX app on Steam. This is Sam Stone with Power Up and Den of Geek. Gentlemen, thanks for taking the time for sitting down and talking to me all things virtual reality and extended reality.
Thank you
Thanks a lot,
for
Sam.
having us.